What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach. Today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. What? Alright, this story's called He Doesn't Work Here, We Just Want to Buy Our Stuff and Go. I'm on mobile, so forgive me for any mistakes. I also quite literally just joined, so I hope this story fits the thread. For reference, I'm me and my best friend is best friend, and the old lady will be Karen. This happened a few days ago. So for starters, me and my best friend have been friends for a long time, since we were like 13 to 14. We're both the same age, 19, and are thick as thieves. There's a grocery store near our neighborhood, and we frequently go there if the gas station doesn't have what we're looking for. So me and best friend walk into the grocery store. We needed marshmallows and something else. I don't recall right now. Now, for context, both of us wear alternative styles. I'm wearing a large, long hoodie, baggy black pants, and a tank top. My hair is dyed 2 colors, and I have lots of facial piercings, something that is typically not allowed for store employees at this grocery store. Best friend is wearing something similar, all black getup and platform boots. He doesn't have piercings, but he is wearing eyeliner, so neither of us look like any of the store employees. We get our marshmallows and go looking for the next item. We find the eyelets in, joking between each other like normal, when suddenly there is a loud, "Excuse me!" Now, both of us bristle at the tone. Being young, both of us having PTSD, so angry adults yelling at us is not something we enjoy. We both turn and look at what I can only describe as a textbook Karen. I'm talking dressed in athletic wear that was 2 sizes too small, the haircut. Worse was the giant gaudy turquoise necklace and the matching earrings that clashed horribly with her outfit. She looked like she was somewhere around 50 to 60 years old. Best friend says, "Yes, ma'am," as she was obviously trying to get our attention and neither of us wanted to be rude at that moment. Plus, both of us have worked customer service and it was a habit. Karen rolls her eyes. "Finally! I've been trying to get your attention since you helped her." She points at me. "With her stuff, now I need you to go check in the back for..." something that I honestly can't remember after this crap show. Best friend and I are staring at this woman like she grew 2 heads. How in the world could she possibly think he works here? Best friend replies with such, "Ma'am, I don't work here." Now, you'd think this would be the end of it, but unlike many of the stories here, it didn't. That set her off for some ungodly reason. And when I say she went from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds, I mean her face turned bright red, eyebrows nearly molded together with how hard she was scowling, and her fists were clenched so tight, I'm surprised her fake nails didn't cut her hands open. She points at best friend and in the nastiest, hateful tone I've only ever read about says, "Yes, you do! I saw you helping her!" She then points to me, and her finger was, I kid you not, an inch away from my face. Both best friend and I are very protective over each other. We've been best friends for forever, and we don't like when other people make either of us uncomfortable. So, best friend gently takes my shoulders and moves me away from her, reiterating that he does not, in fact, work here. He barely gets the words out before Karen shushes him, and I'm pretty sure there was spit flying. She had pulled her mask off at this point and started to scream at him. "God, your kinds are all the same! No manners, no respect! How dare you pretend you don't work here! You obviously do!" Best friend and me both look down at what he's wearing. Mainly the 4 to 5 inch platform boots adorned with straps, buckles, and silver plating over the toe part. Then at her. "Well, what do you have to say for yourself?" She screamed like it was us who were in the wrong here. Not only were both of us upset at being yelled at for no reason, but we were particularly upset at referring to boyfriend as your kind. So we were dealing with not only a numbskull, but a racist as well. At this point, after staring at each other for around a minute, I find the courage to step forward and try to defuse the situation. "Ma'am, he really doesn't work here, and I'm trying really hard not to be angry right now. But you're being very rude, and I want you to leave us alone." Karen is having none of it. "Mind your business, and as for you, you! I want your manager now! She looked like one of those naked mole rats, except angrier. At this point, we've already grabbed what we needed, and seeing as how we have no obligation to stay any longer, and certainly don't want to keep dealing with this beaver sausage, that's my thing. We start walking off. We were quite literally astounded, trying to understand how she could have possibly thought best friend worked there. I mean, it was possible she'd seen us before in that store, and sometimes after getting off work, we would go pick up a few items, still wearing uniforms, so I can kinda see how she might assume that, but even so, that was highly unlikely. Anyway, I hoped that would be the end of it, but no dice. We hear her worn-out sneakers squeaking rapidly against the floor before she sinks her talons into best friend's jacket and uses what I have to assume was all of her strength to pull him backwards. Normally, in those boots, best friend might have fallen, but his guard was all the way up, having had to deal with much worse than this, and he was able to stick his foot out behind him and stop himself from falling. His boot, however, and mind you, his boots are made out of thick, heavy rubber that weighs a lot more than you think, landed on the front half of Karen's foot. Yikes. She lets out an ear-piercing yowl that reminded me of 100 burning mice. Reminded you? Where were you where there were 100 burning mice? What the heck? Best friend is now visibly angry, and so am I. He turns around with a very heavy glare while I immediately grab her wrists and yank them off of best friend. The moment I touch her, Karen throws herself to the ground and starts screaming like she's being stabbed with a butter knife. I'm sure somewhere during this commotion, an actual store employee heard all the screaming and yelling and the crashing of a whole Monster Energy can display Karen took with her to the ground, because one showed up around the corner and looked visibly dumbfounded. Both me and best friend are internally panicking because we both look like two kids who just pushed an old lady to the ground. I try to ask this employee for help, we'll name him Damn for expedience's sake, and I barely get a word in before Karen stands up acting like she's mortally wounded. "These two just assaulted me!" She screamed in a very loud voice that made Dan cringe, along with me and best friend. "I want him fired and both of them arrested! Call the police!" I turned around to yell at Karen because at this point I was so angry at her, I wanted to put her into an armbar and break her elbow for putting her hands on best friend. But best friend stopped me and asked very calmly to speak to a manager. Karen was huffing and puffing, but she managed to continue her tirade. "No, I want to speak to the manager. You don't get to speak to the manager. You are a piece of crap and rude, and I'm going to have you arrested." Dan had taken best friend's request and quite literally ran with it. And soon enough, there was a manager following Dan back to the scene of the crime. The entire time, best friend had put himself between me and Karen. The manager had an obvious customer service smile on his face and addressed us. "Hello, what's the problem here?" Neither of us bothered opening our mouths because we predicted Karen launching into a loud rant. Sure enough, she instantly began to yell, "These two assaulted me! He called me names, and I want him fired, and the police called!" This is not an exact word for word, but basically she lied through her teeth. The manager looked at us, bewildered as we helplessly stared back. Finally, he looks at Karen and calmly puts out his hands in the universal pose anyone in customer service knows as the calm down gesture. "Ma'am, neither of these people work here. They're customers, just like you." This sends her into a rage, wherein she called best friend multiple racial slurs and insults me as she screams about how she wants the police called, she was assaulted, blah blah blah. Manager finally gets in a word and says he'll call the police, just as soon as he watches the cameras to make sure what happened. Karen's face drops, like she forgot cameras existed, and turned pale once she realized how deep the crap she got herself into was. She quickly backpedals and tells the manager not to call the police, she has an appointment and just wants to go. I could see the look on the manager's face, mostly just his eyes. Everyone but Karen had their mask on, and I know he's probably realized by now from her language and behavior that she was probably in the wrong. So he turns to us and asks if we wanted to call the police, in a slightly unsure tone. I wanted to, but best friend says no. We just wanted to go as well. Karen looked relieved, which pissed me off further, but we bought our items and left. The end wasn't as satisfying as I wish it was. I really wanted to get back at her for the way she treated us, but I'm sure karma gave her what she deserved. To this day, I still don't know how she came to the conclusion that someone wearing a full gothic getup was a store employee. I hope she didn't drive herself to the store. Her vision must be terrible. Yikes. This pretty much follows the formula of like a lot of the stories here, which is crazy. Like that this archetype is so prevalent. You know what I'm saying? Like how are so many people like that? How? Tell me, guys. Is something going on here? Alright, this story's called, I don't know what you want, but I still don't work here, lady. After work one evening, I went to a multinational retailer of personal care and skin products. Starts with an S and ends with Ephora. I got nothing. To pick up a few items I was running low on. For context, I, who was tired and over it to begin with, worked at the time in a medical facility in administration, so my default is usually all black professional attire with my hair and makeup done decently, so it wasn't uncommon to get mistaken for an employee even with my work badge, complete with the facility logos, in full view clipped to my pants. Now, I don't know if this is every location, but every local multinational retailer of personal care and skin products store I've been to has their employees wearing either all black or a black and red dress shirt combination, so the times prior when I did get mistaken as an employee, I just politely let them know I didn't work there. The person apologizes and we get back to our shopping. Yo, OP, it's so cool that you're doing that whole multinational retailer of personal care and skin products store thing. I love it. Enter Karen. Karen appeared to be in her mid-50s, dressed head to toe in mismatched designer, as was the theme with every murder of Karens in this upscale area, face twisted into a frozen sneer as she approaches while I'm doing my shopping. Damn, OP's good.
Excuse me, instead of helping yourself, can you please give me that basket? You see my hands are full.
Pointedly staring down the shopping basket with my purchase, arms hugging an array of beauty products. Not an out-of-this-world request just to be a nice person, but not when you ask like a rude cow. Insert a slow, incredulous stare. Oh, sorry, I actually don't—
Whether you're on the clock or not, you're still at work and I'm the customer. If you're so busy with your basket, can you go get me one? My hands are full.
No, I don't work here, and made my way to another section to avoid further pointless confrontation. 5 minutes or so passed to get approached by Karen once more.
Just so you know, I've reported your attitude to the store manager.
Great. I don't know what you want, but I still don't work here. As I brush by Karen to make my purchase and make a quiet exit, face still in its unbecoming scowl as I make my way out of the store. Not the most exciting story in the world, as I'm not a huge fan of confrontation, but still pretty funny to look back on. Gives me a chuckle when I do go back to that location, as it should. I don't know, OP. The way OP was writing and the stuff she pointed out, I don't know. It's really cool. I don't know how to describe the feeling I'm having toward it, but it's a cool one. I don't know, I feel shy, but in a kind of good way. Alright, this story's called, No, You Can't Have a Doctor's Note. So about 2 years ago, I was heavily pregnant with extreme morning sickness. One of the lucky few to have it in the 3rd trimester. I also am my partner's main form of transportation, as he can't drive, so naturally, I take him to work every morning. Unfortunately, this means we were occasionally late due to me throwing up in the morning. One day, I got extremely sick, and my boyfriend had to call in to say he'd be later than usual, and we showed up about an hour late. Normally, it was something like 5 minutes, and his supervisors were very understanding of the situation, so no big deal. Things happen. It sucked that he was so late today, but whatever. So after I dropped him off, I chilled in the car for a second, cause motion sickness, and I hear someone tapping on my window. It was his boss. Potassium? So I open the window, thinking he's gonna ask about the baby and chit chat. Whatever. Go, hey man, what's up? How's it going? Hey, so I'm gonna need you you to bring me a doctor's note. And I just stared at him. I had zero idea how to answer besides, for what? Well, to verify you're actually sick since partner had to come in late. The audacity! Dude, I'm 8 months pregnant. I'm not sick. Okay, but I still need a doctor's note. Bro, I don't work for you. And even if I did, you're not entitled to even ask for my medical information, dude. What the hell? This is so offensive. You are a stranger. We've spoken like twice. I mean, it was a little anticlimactic because he just went, sorry, and walked away. Never brought it up again, but like, dude, what? Super bizarre. Edit. Just for clarification, the guy is chill, and I spoke much less intensely than how this conveys. Like, I laughed halfway through. Dude, what the hell? Edit. When I say my partner cannot drive, I mean incapable of driving. Not doesn't like to. Not doesn't know how to. Can't. Edit. Stop being jerks. What the fuck? Yes, guys. OP. Yeah, at first I was like, OP. Okay, I get it, but you don't gotta be so mean about it. But, you know, they pointed out that they weren't talking like that in the actual conversation. It was much more casual. But it doesn't matter. Who gives a crap if the dude doesn't know how to drive or can't drive? It makes no difference. It's none of your business, you jerkheads. God. See, look at me. I'm a hero. Look at me. I'm like a hall monitor, but more badass. I'm gonna knock you guys out. Talk crap to OP again. Ooh, call me a simp. Simply badass. Alright, this story's called Need Me to Get Something Off the Top Shelf. Happened today while I was wearing normal jeans and a sweatshirt. Was shopping for groceries in my local super department and I was in the crisps aisle. I'm above average height, so usually when I get asked to do something in the shops, it's to grab something off the top shelf for someone, usually an elderly woman. Today I heard, in a quiet voice, "Excuse me, could you help me?" I turn around and it's this huge middle-aged man, at least 6 feet 5 inches tall. I'm quite surprised to hear, but I followed him nonetheless. He led me through 2 aisles to the cereal section, points down to the aisle closest to the floor, and asks if I could grab the red one as his back was too stiff. I bent down, grabbed the item, and handed it to him, after which he asked me if I was a new employee. I replied no, and he apologized profusely for wasting my time. I told him to think nothing of it and said my goodbyes. Not a very exciting story, but it goes to show that sometimes the bottom shelf is as out of reach for large people as the top shelf is for small people. Damn, I didn't come here for some stupid-ass philosophy. I'm kidding. OP, thank you for being a good Samaritan and helping that man out. Back pain is a thing that happens to people, man. It sucks. I mean, I wouldn't know because I'm so full of that youth and vigor. Yeah! Oh,
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.